Thank you so much. I'm prepared in my heart, but I didn't prepare it in my head for what to say. My question, it's interesting you brought up children and who they come to be, and it's not our job to make them what we're anticipating them to be.
It's your job to soothe them into alignment with their own inner being so they can be what life has caused them to be. They get to create their own reality, don't they? Little buggers. And so, just talk, it'll be fine.
My son is 6, and he's been sick for many years, about 4 years. And I'm doing my best to balance between accepting him the way he is and yet helping him at the same time, and not being attached to making him better, but definitely wanting to do everything in my power as a mother to do what I can to help him. So I'm just stuck in between accepting him where he is, and then sometimes I feel like I get to that point, and then when I see him suffer, then it just breaks my heart, and I don't know what to do.
Here's the thing. It's going to feel easier to you than it has been feeling. Any of us who are wanting to help anybody else, the best that we can do is to soothe them into their own alignment, where you have greater clarity and better timing and better impulses, and most of all, you get to feel better. So the first thing that we want to say to you is that we would never ask anyone, and it's a good thing because it's an impossible thing to ask of anyone. We would never ask anyone to give up their desire. We're not asking you to give up your desire for improved health with your little one. We are asking you to give up resistance about it. And so what accepting turns out to be, what acceptance is full acceptance of the desire that has been born from the experience. So look at it this way. We offered an analogy that's perfect for you already, that here is the fetus growing in the womb, and then there is the baby being born, and then there is the becoming of it, and then there is some becoming that may not be the way that you or your child would choose it to be. But no creation is ever complete. All creations are still in progress. And so if some new desires are born once you're down the road a little bit with your child, those go into the vortex too. So there's a rebirthing, you might say. You get to keep asking for what you now see from where you now stand. We're going to talk fully with you, so just relax into understanding what we're saying. But this is the most significant thing that we want you to hear from us. If this time-space reality has the wherewithal to produce a desire within you, it has the wherewithal to deliver the goods. You have it a little rougher than Esther has it with the floor, because we said earlier, Esther's the only one talking smack about that floor. But when you have something going on like you're going on, there are others talking about it. And so it feels like there's that to be believed. But we just want you to know that anything that you've given birth to, you can find vibrational alignment with it. And when you do, the first thing that happens is you feel better. And the next thing that happens is that you begin to soothe the energies that are around it. When you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, you have powerful influence. But when you're worried or afraid or unhappy and not in alignment with that, then you're just banging around like everybody else, and you don't have much power of influence. You see what we're getting at? Helpful? Want to talk further?
I'm starting to open up to potentially that if I get in more of a space of being, like what you said, comfortable and okay, that he will start to heal. And the difficulty is his father doesn't really think there's anything wrong with him, and that all the reports and the doctor's reports are made up and lies, yet our son is obviously very ill every day of his life. And so I feel like there's this other, besides him, there's just this other unspoken argument that's a vibrational argument that's going on between his father and I.
Well, that one's an obvious one to see. It's not just vibrational. You're talking about it right out in the open. It's a manifested argument. But that's not the one that we need to talk about or do anything about. It's the argument that's going on inside of you. I want this, but I believe this. And why do I believe it? Because I'm witnessing it. And it's hard not to believe something that I'm looking right at. Hard not to believe something that I'm looking right at. And so
I'm there because when I'm seeing him suffer, so how do I not see that and just pretend like it's not happening?
We understand, but here's the thing. This is going to sound like we've changed the subject, but we haven't. It's also going to sound really like an insignificant conversation in relationship to the one that you have, but they're all the same in terms of the way the laws of the universe work. So met a man the other day who has invented a barbecue contraption, and he just wants lots of money to come so that he can sell it to the world, so that he can go buy his big old truck and live in his big old lifestyle and feel really happy in his life. And
the guy in Atlanta,
we said to him,
I remember him.
all right, so this is a good conversation for us to have.
Yes.
So we said to him, and then to the audience, if you remember, we said to him, satisfaction is the key, which sounds like he needs to find some way of being satisfied at the current non-working, non-existence of a contract for his barber. In other words, you need to just feel satisfied anyway. And then we said, is that what you think we were saying? No, what we were saying is just feel satisfied. You don't have to feel satisfied about the barbecue. Just feel satisfied. In fact, it's very difficult to feel satisfied about the barbecue if the barbecue contracts haven't come yet. Just feel satisfied. Just find something that is satisfying to focus upon. Well, that's a little easier with a barbecue than it is someone that you care so much about that nearly every waking moment you're thinking about it. But you are wanting some satisfying distraction wherever you can find it all day, every day. The best way that we know of to find that is through meditation, because when you quiet your mind, there's no active thought. And when there's no active thought, your vibration rises and you know what your inner being knows. You take on the mood and the attitude of your own inner being about it, you see. So it's the same conversation. Just give us some feedback. In other words, argue with us about the floor. It's all right.
So what I've been attempting to do is really to feel just like what you said, is really satisfied and really happy in my life and really content with where we are, regardless of where he is, and still have love and compassion for him, but stop trying to fix him.
In all of that good sounding stuff, you were not for a second off the subject of him. Everything that you said just now was all about that. You didn't leave it long enough to allow your vibration to rise a little bit. Even aspects of him are satisfying.
I think I was thinking that if I did that, that it would allow whatever's to happen for him, to actually.
We want you to say this fully. You were worried that what?
I really did think that if I just pulled away from the subject and not thought about it so much, that if I got in a certain area of happiness within myself, that it would allow some detachment for whatever's going on for him to work out. And I struggle with that thought sometimes, to think that that's me being in denial. And then the other part of me says, no, just try it for a while and just go with it.
But here's another piece that's bigger than that. We know you thought all of those things, and that's all right. But this is the thing that you really think a lot that is in your way. This is the piece that will help you let go of your resistance about it. You believe, like most parents, that if you're not vigilant about the care and well-being of the child, that the care and well-being will cease to be, because you kind of have been programmed by society and you've gone along with it, that your child's well-being is dependent upon your attention and focus. So it feels counterintuitive to you to take your attention from something that you so much want to help and improve, because you fear that if you do, that he will be left flailing about with no support.
But it's the actual thing that I've been doing more of in the past, I would say 6 months, like doing less and trying less and talking about it less.
There must be something.
Is that the right direction?
It is, but there must be something stuck in there, because 6 months is way too long. There must be something stuck in there. That's why we want to just play with you a little bit and see if you can loosen it up. And here's the thing that is so interesting about this conversation. It feels like what we're saying to you is, let's get to the bottom of where you're stuck so that you can not be stuck. But there's no bottom to stuckness, because as we're looking for it, we'll just activate it and bring it forward into this moment in time. We're not wanting to get to the bottom of it. We're wanting to help you find some real satisfaction in some ways on subjects other than that. Now when you get really good at this, you can find satisfaction about aspects of your son, but right now while it's all raw and ragged, just looking there, you go right to the habit of thought. So that's not a good idea. You need to get a little more distance away from that. We're not asking you to abandon. Here's what we say when we lovingly tease parents, all parents. We say, talk to your children all the time. Talk to your children all the time, but only when you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. Talk to them all the time, but only when you're in alignment. Think about your children all the time, but only when you're in alignment. Never practice those thoughts about your children or anything that don't feel good when you think them. And so it really is as simple as recognizing what thoughts feel satisfying and what thoughts don't feel satisfying.
And I'm noticing that like he doesn't even realize he's so sick. He's been sick for so long. You ask him how he is, and he could, obviously to someone else, he does not look well, and he's oh good. And so I'm realizing that perhaps I'm just feeling more responsible for holding him back because I'm holding him in his vision
maybe,
of being
but you
ill.
see,
so if I just pull away and
we think it's interesting that you feel a need to explain all of that. You keep wanting to explain what is, and now you want to explain why what is what is. And that's just because you're human, used to looking at what is. We're asking you to be a little less human and be a little less interested in what is, because you can't create new while you're looking at what is. And we know that you understand that. It makes sense conceptually. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. So let's play together here and demonstrate for others. It'll be easy for you. Let's talk about your life in general, not just the parent-child part of it, but your life in general. You can talk about anything you want. You can describe where you live. You can tell us a little bit about your family, about your mate. You can talk about anything you want. And as you offer a brief sentence, we're going to ask you if that thing you're focused upon, that aspect you're focused upon in that moment, is satisfying or something less than satisfying. So you just start talking and we'll just play this game. And you're going to discover in a really short period of time, and so is everyone in the room, you're going to discover what we mean by, is it satisfying or something else? Because if it's satisfying, you're in the receiving mode, and then you can receive inspiration that improves, but otherwise not. And there are a lot of things that you don't feel satisfied about that you still want to talk about that aren't helping you in any way. So might as well sort it out. Yeah. So just talk to us a little bit. How's it going?